Hi, we are going to talk about the Henderson-Hasselbalch equation. I love this equation because it saves us a ton of time. Now, if you want to watch a different video from somebody else about the derivation, watch the derivation. I'm just going to tell you where it comes from, but I'm not going to take time to derive it. I just want to teach you how to use it. It's actually just our equilibrium expression. The Ka is products over reactants. So Ka, this is looking at an acid reaction. Acid plus water equals conjugate base plus plus conjugate base, or conjugate base plus hydronium ion. That's your acid reaction. Put products of reactants, bam, there you have it. So now if you just take the log of both sides and then manipulate it, kind of move some of the species around, you get this right here. This is the Henderson-Hasselbalch equation. Now, AP, for those of you who are in an AP class, this is on your AP reference. You might be in a class that doesn't give you this. Henderson-Hasselbalch is worth memorizing. There are so few things that I have my students straight up memorize. I want them to use their brains to do real thinking, not just memorize stuff that they can look up. So trust me, this is worth memorizing. Have Henderson-Hasselbalch memorized because it will save you a lot of time that you don't have to do ice tables. Not that I don't like ice tables, it's just they take a little bit of time. So here's when you use Henderson-Hasselbalch. You have an acid reactant with a base. So this is not acid plus water, it's not base plus water. It's straight up an acid plus a base. So in this example, I'm using formic acid with the sodium hydroxide. And remember, I wrote this as a net ionic equation. I dropped the sodium because sodium hydroxide completely dissociates, and that sodium is a neutral ion, so it doesn't impact pH. Okay, so it's when you have an acid and a base, and you know every time you're given an acid and a base, always you have to do initial final moles. Okay, so you do initial final moles, and once you do that, the final moles, you have moles for both the acid and the conjugate base. So you're going to have two numbers down here. You'll have a number for the acid, number for conjugate base. When you see that, you go right to Henderson-Hasselbalch. You're like, yay, I get to use Henderson-Hasselbalch. I don't have to do an ice table. Now here's when you do not use Henderson-Hasselbalch, and there's really only one scenario that you're going to see. It's when you do the acid and base. So you have your acid base, you do initial final moles, and when you do that, there's no acid. You only have the conjugate base. So the big takeaway, you do initial moles, you calculate, get the final moles, and there's only one number on the product side. That means you're at the equivalence point, and you have to do the 3 steps, which includes the ice table. So if you are in that situation, go to my playlist on acid-base equilibrium and find where it says the 3 steps. So acid-base reaction at the equivalence point. So then you have to do the 3 steps. If you're at the equivalence point, you're stuck with the 3 steps doing the ice table. Anything else, nice, you can do the Henderson-Hasselbalch. And the reason why you can't use Henderson-Hasselbalch on this is, look right here. If you have 0 acid, that's going to be undefined. You can't have a quotient with 0 in the denominator. That's why you can't use the Henderson-Hasselbalch. Okay, so I'm going to work 2 examples quickly for you. Here's your first one. We're going to have 0.1 molar of 20 mils of formic acid, and we're going to add to this, we're going to titrate, we're going to add to it 0.05 molar of 10 mils of the sodium hydroxide. And I wrote down the Ka, our ionization constant for the equilibrium constant for formic acid is 1.8 times 10 to the minus 4. So I see an acid and base, always I go to initial moles. I have to figure out how many moles we have, and then final moles, how many moles are left over. So I'll do my I up above for initial, F down below for the final. Let's go ahead and figure out the moles. So on my formic acid, we've got 0.1 mole per liter times, so 20 mils, divide that by 1,000 is going to give us 0.020 liters. Got to put it in liters so those liters cancel out, and that will give us 0.002 moles. So let's write this here, 0.002 moles of formic acid. That's what we're going to start with. Now we're going to add to this the 0.05 moles per liter of the hydroxide, and we've only got 10 mils. So divide that by 1,000. Let's multiply by 0.00 0.010 liters. So that's the same thing as 10 mils. our liters cancel, and we are going to get 0.1235. So 5 times 10 to the minus 4, 0.0005 moles of the hydroxide. So let's go ahead and write this down, 0.0005 moles of the hydroxide. Okay, nice. So I start with this flask. I have the 20 mils. I go ahead and add the 10 mils, so the 0.05 molar hydroxide. And those are the moles that I've now mixed. So we want to see, okay, what happens. Just a reminder, initially, before I mixed anything, we're going to have 0 of the formate ion. And of course, water, because it's a liquid, we don't include in the equilibrium expression. We only include aqueous and gas. So what do we have left over? So this is a 1-to-1 molar ratio. This is limiting reactant, is the smallest amount of moles. This will be consumed. So I will have 0 of that remaining. So I want to know, well, how much is remaining of the formic acid? Well, if I have 0.0005, you just subtract that from this. That's how much will react. And we will have, when I subtract it, 0.0015 moles of that formic acid remaining. Now, how much is produced? Again, I'm looking at the molar ratio. For every 1 mole of hydroxide, it produces 1 mole of that formate ion. If we consume 0.0005 moles, it means we will produce 0.005 moles of that formate ion. Okay, now this is what grabs me. This is what's like screaming, blaring lights. I have moles for the acid, formic acid, and I have moles for the conjugate base, the formate ion. When I see those moles for the acid and conjugate base, I'm like, woohoo, let's use Henderson-Hasselbalch. So to do Henderson-Hasselbalch, I need the pKa. Here's my Ka. Remember, pKa equals the negative log of Ka. So let's do the negative log of 1.8 times 10 to the minus 4, and that equals 3.74. Okay, put that in your calculator, you'll get 3.74. Now, all we have to do is plug in our numbers. So the pH will equal pKa 3.74 plus the log of the conjugate base, which is 0.1235 moles, divided by the acid, 0.0015, that's my formic acid, moles. Now, little reminder, I put this in brackets, meaning molarity. This is one of the few times that you can use moles or molarity because this has the same volume. So if I did the volumes as 20 mils plus 10 mils, watch this for just a second. 0.1235 moles per 30 mils. Actually, do you know what? I'll be very technical. Let's put it in liters. 0.03 liters. Great big divided by 0.123. Oh, sorry. 0.115 divided by, it's the same volume because I added the 20 mils plus the 10 mils and they're all sitting in the same beaker, has the same volume, divided by 0.03 liters, so 30 mils. Guess what? The volumes cancel. That is why when we're doing Henderson-Hasselbalch, you can use moles or molarity. It doesn't matter. So in this case, much easier just to use the moles that I have left over because I know they have the same volume. That volume will cancel. So nice little trick on Henderson-Hasselbalch. You can use moles or molarity. Okay, use moles or molarity. Let me put this down up here. Can use moles or molarity for the acid and conjugate base. Just make sure they're the same. You can't use molarity for one and moles for the other. It has to be mole, molarity, molarity. Okay, so when we divide this, we are going to get a negative 0.477. So let's go ahead and do that math. The pH equals 3.74 minus 0.477, which means the pH will equal 3.27. And that totally makes sense. You know, whenever you get an answer, probe and push yourself. Is that logical? We have more of the acid than the conjugate base, which means the pH would be lower than pH equals pKa. So that's totally reasonable. Okay, so there's a problem based in like a titration setting where you're adding the acid and the base. Let's pretend that you're given a buffer. and they say, hey, this buffer contains a certain acid and conjugate base. I'm going to use the formic acid again. Let's say that we have the formic acid and the formate ion. I'm going to pretend in this situation that we will have a buffer. Okay, so let's have a buffer. And I'm going to say that we have 500 mils. Remember, that's not going to make a difference because both the acid and conjugate base, formate and formic acid, they're in the same 500 mils. They have the same volume. Let's say I have a 500 mil buffer of this formic acid and the formate ion. And let's say that this molarity is 0.5 molar and this molarity is 0.7 molar. And I want to know, well, what's the pH of this buffer? Okay, so it's the pH of the buffer. Okay, let's look up here. I can find the Ka of the formic acid. Remember, Ka on this was 1.8 times 10 to the minus 4. So pKa, do the negative log, you'll remember, was the 3.74. So pKa, and I've got the concentration of the conjugate base, and we have the concentration of the acid. All we have to do is plug in, and we can find the pH of this buffer. So pH equals pKa. I know you're thinking, really? Is it that easy? Woohoo! Yes, it is. Plus log of conjugate base is 0.7 divided by 0.5. So divide that, that'll be 1.4. Log of 1.4 is going to be a positive 0.146. So if we add that together, and I'm going to round, the pH is going to be a 3.89. 3.89. Now this also makes sense. This is also logical. Notice I have more of the conjugate base than I do the acid, so it makes sense that the pH will be higher. It's slightly more basic than when we have pH equals pKa. Because remember, when pH equals pKa, the conjugate base and acid are equal to each other. So if I have more base, the pH will be just a little bit higher. Okay, so there you have it. Love Henderson-Hasselbalch. Memorize this. Is when you have buffers, so you've got the acid with its conjugate base, you can do this formula, or in a titration setting, when we are combining an acid and a base, do initial final moles, and in the final moles, you have both moles for the acid and the conjugate base. Okay, good work, you're doing great. If you need more help, I have a ton of videos on YouTube under the playlist Acid-Base Equilibrium. Have a nice day. Thanks.